Live.
Okay.
All right, we are live, and I am really excited to be here today. Technology has been an issue today, but Kim and I are very pleased to be here together. We are determined to do a live together, excluding all kinds of difficulties. So our subject today is mindfulness. Let me make sure I'm saying it properly. Mind conditioning for wellness and success. And so I want to tell you a little bit about my friend Kim or Kimberly. Kimberly is passionate about helping high performing women, busy women, to live at their peak health and how to be able to sustain that kind of energy that's needed. She is an award winning, a former award winning fashion designer, and now she is a holistic health strategist, helping the busy, high performing reclaim their energy and having them know that they can identify what the roadblocks are so that they can live life to their fullest potential, which is what I do all the time. So we're such in harmony on this. So, Kim, what are your thoughts today about this subject?
Well, thank you for having me, Donna. And I'm so blessed to be here. But I wanted to really help anybody, in this fourth quarter, really set their mind to where they want to be going forward into 2022. Many people start in the beginning of the next year and they make all these resolutions, but they don't have the foundation in place to actually execute and fully have success and wins with what those resolutions are. So I thought, let's go ahead and in advance pre-frame our mind for that success. And how do we do that is we need to actually go in and condition how our mind is currently thinking. And what that takes is it takes a foundation of understanding where we are. And so step one today in this series for mind conditioning for wellness is really taking stock of where we're at right now. And so I have a sheet and I will put the link in here
I did it already.
Okay, great. So on the sheet, for anybody watching, go ahead and open that sheet up and you can print it out if you like, or take it just a journal if you're on the phone and you don't have access to that right now. But the first step we're going to go through is really paying attention to where we've been living. In order to move forward in anything in life, we need to know exactly where we're at. And I know you teach this too, Don, exactly. We need to actually take stock of where we are, have awareness of what has been the way we are being, so we can shift it to how we want to be being. And living a healthy and wellness lifestyle is about being very intentional. And when we're intentional, we'll get results of what we've intended. When we just don't do anything, we're going to get results regardless. But why not put the intention out there of what we want so we get the results of how we want to be living? And that shows up in everything we do. As soon as we make one small shift, our mind will then be attaching to these wins, and then it will compound the win and win. And then it begins to shift our entire presence and our entire being. So step one here is in the essential foundation, we're going to notice where I am now. I have listed out here 10 steps for you, or 10 areas, and those are in our values. So our first thing is we're going to recognize where we are living in the current values we are living. And you can even Google values sheet or values for yourself. There's tons of endless ways you can pull up values or what are values. And basically a value is how we feel about the way we live. So I am in love. I am abundant. I am grateful. So I want you to phrase them in I ams, because it's actually a feeling. And when we have the feeling and the emotion, then we literally carry it out and we be that. Okay. So I am accomplished. I am successful. I am adventurous, right? So these are values. So you would value adventure. You would value success. You would value spirituality, if that's the thing. So I want you to come up with your 10s of how you, the 10 up to 10 of how you've been living now, up until now. Now, this exercise can be confusing for somebody because sometimes they'll write how you want to be living or how you think you've been living. But I want you to be really, really truthful with yourself and recognize how you've been living. If you've been living recklessly, let's just say that word, with your finances, then maybe I am financially free might not be one of the ones on your list, right? So maybe you want to put something that is more truthful to how you've been being. These can be designed really for you to have an experience where it's maybe not as positive, and you're recognizing that you've been living with a negative value or a disempowering value, which, and I say negative, mean it takes away from your energy. It takes away from your life. And when you recognize maybe disorganized might be something that you put on there. And so I just want you to recognize where you are. And then we're going to come up and put notes in there about what you recognize, maybe feelings around that when you recognize this value as how you've been living. And this maybe not be such a fun step here, okay? But we're going to move through this quickly. So it might be a little bit of pain of recognizing where you're at, but we're going to move through this quickly. Do you have any questions about that yourself, Donna, or questions you think that the audience has shown up?
No, I don't think so. It's just, to me, it's a little bit different than exactly what I value. It's also because I might not value being disorganized to me, but it is way I am being today.
Right. So this is not necessarily what you value. It's the foundation of how you're being. Step one,
Okay.
where I am now.
Okay.
So when I say a value, it can be confusing that way when you say a value. It is really an emotion, and we're going to convert these into values of how you're living. So I'm starting out with your current values of how you've been living, and it's really the essence of being and the essence of your feelings and what you've put into action. So many people will put a lot of disempowering ones on here, and that's okay. But I want you to really have 70% positive, empowering values of how you're living right now. And it's really recognizing how you're living right now that's going right for you and that you maybe want to continue. And then you recognize some areas that are not, right? That you're like, wow, what values could I create in my life that will now bring in more organization or reduce clutter in my life, or help me to create focus if focus is not one of the values or the emotional actions that you're doing there. So a value is something of what you put importance on in your life and how it shows up in your life. And that shows what you value. If you value spirituality, for instance, being spiritual, if those are the ways you want to put it, it could either be spiritual or faith. I value my spirituality. That would show up by what actions are present in your life. So I'm Christian. I go to church on Sunday. I have a Bible study. I read my Bible daily. These are things that show up with my faith. So faith is a value for me, and it shows up in my life by what I do and how I am, not just because I want to have faith and I don't do anything about it. So it is how you literally show up. So noticing where you are now, empowering as well as disempowering ways of being. And then step 2 here, I want to go over this because I want you to do your homework on step 1, and then step 2, we're going to pre-frame this for how we're going to move into the next session we're going to do. But this is now step 2. What the difference is this is about creating the being I'm moving into. Now, this being is you as you want to be, right? So if you're not practicing gratitude, but right now you feel like you're very grateful and you're being grateful, what else could you put as that for yourself? Maybe it's being generous. Maybe it's contribution oriented. These are all things that you could put of ways of being that bring out more of the other values of how you're living currently. And so we're going to be moving in. And so that's why I'd like you to pull up a list of a variety of different values or emotions or feelings, because I want you to choose now how you're going to be. And this new list, I put only a list of 8 on here for you. And I'll practice next time in the series here how to actually implement and integrate this value. It is a process, and we're going to pick one of your values and we're going to take you through a series. And I can either do it with Donna, or we can do it with somebody who's in the audience that wants to participate. And if you send me your current list, and then you send me the list that you've come up with that you think are ones that you want to be now being, and we can go through and find out what are your top 3. And we want to create the top 3 for you of how you're going to be going into 2022. So a lot of people that I coach, health, they come to me because they say health is on my list. Oh yes, I want to be healthy, but they're not living healthy. So health might not be on their current list, even though they think they want it, but it's not there because they're not executing, they're not being healthy, they're not doing what they need to do to have that. So health will be on the new list, on the step 2 part. So that's what I want you to do, is create the first list of how you're actually being right now, come up with a variety of things up to 8 of how you want to be, and then in the step 2 integration, I will take you through how to actually come up with your top 3 that now you will be living those. And then we're going to show you how to master that in the next session. Do you have any questions on that, Donna?
No, I think that's good to be able to get people started. And were you going into number 3, or is that for next time?
Yes, 3 will be for next time.
Okay.
I will do the step 2 for the integration, and then we will master those top 3.
That sounds like a good start for getting people. I call it finding out where I am on my map and then where I want to go. And that's what we're working on, is figuring out, because before I can determine where I want to go, I need to find out where I am. And so that's a really important factor. So if people want to get in touch with you and personally talk to you about this, how would they reach out to you?
They can either check me on Facebook under Kimberly Baca, or they can go to my business page, Legacy Holistic Health, and message me. Just message me there simply, easily. That's great. And the thing about what I'm sharing here is when a person does this, like my client, Marty did this exercise with me in detail. And I take really detailed. This exercise can take up to 4 hours when you really integrate it at the core level, the foundational cellular level. And after that, she still can't, after 3 months, believe she has no more cravings. She used to go to the refrigerator at 7 o'clock every night, and she just doesn't understand. She's like, what did you do to me? You didn't, do anything special, but I don't even want these things anymore. And that's because she herself changed her values in the order of how she was making things show up for herself. And now her mind and body work in synergy, and now she doesn't want those anymore. And so 30 pounds later, in 3 months, she has amazing results because she reconditioned her mind for what it needed, instead of following what her mind was telling her and had been living and thinking that's what she wanted. Awesome. I want health, but not living it, right? Telling yourself, I want health, but not living it. You've got to change things at the foundational level in order for you to get the results that are not only temporary, but sustainable for long term.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing today. And you guys be sure to reach out to Kimberly, if you'd like some more help in this area so that you can make lasting change. And thank you for tuning in. We will put her different links in the comments once we finish this live and be able to reach out to her. So thanks, Kim, for coming and sharing. And you guys all listening, have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.